Hi everyone, it's Ileana and welcome back for another card tutorial. I'm going to be using a red rubber stamp today from So Susie. It's called a mirror image stamp and it is just a plain red rubber that you're going to use to make mirror images of your stamps. So I've taken the foam insert out of my Mini Misti. I've added a few sheets of grid paper and the red rubber stamp on top. I'm taking the little owl from Jump for Joy stamp set from Lawn Fawn, and I'm positioning it on my small scrap piece of Neenah Solar White just so that I know where it's going to stamp. And I'm just going to be inking that up with Memento Tuxedo Black ink. I'm going to do some Copic coloring. So I'm going to stamp that onto the red rubber stamp. I'm going to do it a couple of times so I get a lot of ink on there. And then what I'll do is I'm just going to lay down my piece of cardstock back down. And when I close the lid, the image that is on there will press down and you'll see the impression from the red rubber. It doesn't have to be perfect because you know me, I'm going to go back and I'm going to do overstamping. I'm just going to color everything in. I'm going to start off with the yellow Y15 and I'm just going to do the beak and the feet. You don't have to do any special Copic coloring or anything like that. You just color in your picture. I'm going to make a boy owl and a girl owl. So for the boy owl, I'm just starting off with some B01 and some B00, and I'm just blending those in. I wasn't sure how to make them distinguishable for a card, and so I just Googled cartoon owls and looked through a bunch, and then I just saw a couple that were actually painted blue and pink, and I thought that's what I'll do. Instead of doing the traditional real bird colors, I thought we would just make it a little more whimsical. Now for the leaves, I'm using E31 and E33. There's no in-between color, and so what I do is I just went ahead and did the darker color, and to blend it in a little bit better, I'm just going to use the lighter E31 and I'm going to do tip to tip on the Copic markers, and then I'm just going to fleck it out. Eventually the E33 color will come off the tip, and so you'll get a nice blended color that way. If you don't have colors, you can kind of make two of them blend by doing that tip to tip. Now once that's all done, I have to do some overstamping. I just like the way that it looks. I like just that extra black darkness and the embossing. So I'm just going to go and add the black onyx to my image, and I'm just going to stamp it back onto my red rubber stamp. I don't want to push too hard because I don't want to make the lines thick, and so I'm just going to stamp again. And then I want it a little bit darker, so I'm going to repeat it one more time. And I did use the magnets because the magnets will keep the rubber from moving. And then the black onyx will stay wet, and I'll go ahead and do my clear embossing powder that I love to do so much. Now, because the image on the back is exactly in the same spot, I could line up my die onto the back side and I can cut it out. I just simply put a piece of typing paper on the other side so it protects the image. You'll always notice that your cutting plates will leave dents on the back side, so to prevent that from happening, I just use some typing paper, and there you can see it cut it out perfect. I actually made, I went through the whole process of making the little owl and then realized that the camera wasn't even on, so I had to go back and do the whole thing over again. Now to stamp the female, I'm going to simply just repeat the first part. Actually, I'm just going to stamp the image out um, and then color it in. I used my Memento Tuxedo Black ink just because it's Copic safe. And I colored everything out the same, and now I need to find a matching pink that looks well with the blue. So I'm using the R81 and R83 for my girl owl, and I'm just flicking the color from the edges just on the top and the bottom, and then I'll add the R81 to the remainder of um, the center part there. And then I'll add a little bit more of the darker color just to darken it up just a tiny bit. And then I actually forget to overstamp on this. And so I go through and I die cut it. And afterwards, I realized that I forgot to even emboss it. So I had to go back and actually do that because then it would look odd that one is embossed and the other one is not. And so it's an easy fix. I just had to dig out the negative die cut from the garbage can and then just pop it back into the MISTI. I hadn't taken the owl off the mini MISTI at all, so it was really easy just to fix it. So I'm just putting that negative piece back in, and I'm just popping in that die. And now I am just going to add my black onyx. I'm making sure that the little owl is back in the proper place, and it is. It's okay to do it this way. It's just a little bit harder to hold on to the piece to add the embossing powder. So I just used my tweezers and I just dipped it in. And then the one little leaf, the one little wing didn't get any embossing powder. So I just dipped it in with my hands. I put the little owl into a lid of a tin. I didn't want to put it directly onto my craft mat because the heat gun will warp your craft mat. So I set everything aside and then I assembled everything together. So I'm just going to go through. I'm using the Love through Lawn Fawn from Lawn Fawn, and I just did it on some fun foam. I did the grass with the grassy hillside, and the heart is from Concord and Ninth. That is from the Heartstrings die. The plaid is cut out with the large stitch rectangle, and the little heart is from the Hearts die from Lawn Fawn. So I've assembled everything together. The green is Stampin' Up! Cucumber Crush, and the blue is Bermuda Bay. The red heart is Real Red. And I'm just going to line up the heart, and I'm just sticking it straight down onto the back panel. I don't want to add dimensionals because it'll be too hard to put the love on there. So I want to add some foam tape to the back of the birds. And I want to make sure that they're evenly spaced. So I'm just going to figure where my pieces are going to go. I'm going to add a little bit of foam to the heart. And I didn't want the heart to be too big or too small, so I actually cut out all of the hearts from the Lawn Fawn set and just tried the different pieces until I figured out which size was perfect. So I'm just going to center the heart. I was a little worried that the Lawn Fawn heart was a little more narrow than the Concord and Ninth one, but I just decided to not be so picky and to just put it on there. So I'm lining up the valley of the heart with the valley of the bigger heart, and then I'm just going to adhere my little owls. So now I'm going to put the love down at the bottom, and I'm not sure where exactly I want to put it. I just figured if I play with it, I'd find somewhere where I'd like. I wanted it to be a little bit closer, but the L was keeping me from getting too close to the owl, and I didn't want it to be that he was sitting on it, so I brought it down just a little bit. I'm using my tweezers so that I don't distort it too much. And it's kind of easy to figure out where the center is because, it's 4 letters. I'm adding a little bit of clear Wink of Stella to the heart. And I wanted to put um, you, I love you on there, and I was kind of baffled as to which letters to do, and so, or which stamps to use, and so I thought, well, I'm going to pull out some little stickers. And so I've had these in my stash for a long time. I don't even know where they came from. I just thought, oh, I'm just going to use them because I have them, and I'm just going to add the letters on there. And afterwards I thought, oh, that I should make it Owl love you, but owl was too long to put next to the L, and so I just left it with I. And now I'm just adding some pretty pink posh sparkling clear sequins, and it's in the 4 and the 6 millimeter, and I'm using my Crystal Katana to add those on. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you have enjoyed learning how to use a mirror image stamp. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. Have a great day. Bye.